Hi, everybody. I just want to remind you guys to go out to Amazon and get my book entitled Reflections of My Heart Secrets. So, this is a book of original short stories and poems. So, don't forget to go out there and purchase it. And also, I just want to remind you guys that this book is to encourage and to inspire everyone and to let us know, don't let our age scare us or discourage us from accomplishing our goals. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Visible Lady of Faith, coming to you with a summary of the Sunday school lesson for Sunday, August the 23rd, 2026, entitled Timothy, a Leader with Legacy. And this lesson is taken from 2 Timothy, the first chapter, verses 1 through 6. And 2 Timothy, the third chapter, verses 14 through 16. So this lesson is about Paul, aka Saul, and Timothy.
Timothy, a leader with a legacy.
So it was a common belief that Timothy was written by Apostle Paul.
And he had some help, maybe from Timothy and other people too. You got to keep that in mind.
Okay, and Paul was in a Roman prison at this time, or around this time. And at the time, it says about AD 64, between AD 64 and 67. And this was his final personal testament before his execution.
Yeah, so it's roughly, they said he was executed about that time. So, yeah, this is when, in Rome, when Paul was in prison. So, there were some tough times because Paul had a reputation when he was Saul. He was persecuting the church. Now, Paul also, too, now he's going against the people that he was supporting. So he's in switched teams. So that could be pretty much a challenge. But Paul, when he on Damascus Road.
That was Saul on Damascus Road.
Yeah.
Before he was converted and name changed to Paul.
Saul to Paul, yeah.
Yeah, Saul to Paul.
But see, and I called Paul when he was there because when Jesus spoke to him on that road, that was an interesting, Sunday school lesson we had before. It's like a son to Paul. So, in other words, stating that because look at the bond and the love that he had for, between the two, I'll call them ministers, one that's promoting the gospel.
Okay, so one thing about Timothy, he was educated by his mother, Eunice, and his grandmother, Lois. So he was familiar with the scriptures as a young child.
He was familiar as a young child, but we also want to be careful too because I've seen these young ministers and people so fascinated with it because the child, he sounds like a preacher that gets up and stirs the congregation up. And good, he has that talent, but still he doesn't have the life experiences and the things to navigate. Let's just say I can't see a 13-year-old minister trying to sit down and counsel a couple in a marriage. I just don't see that because that child has no experience whatsoever. Nothing's impossible with God, but I'm saying is not to discredit if you have exposure to a young person like that, but you still have to match up what's coming out of their mouth and see if they believe in what's coming out of their mouth and their behavior. And also, I would vet and see what's going on in there in the background of that. The other point was that you brought out about the grandmother and the mother that educated Timothy. It's important to understand. As I was growing up, didn't directly tell me that men are more superior than women. It was kind of like implied. When we sit and look, I look through all the classroom.
Where was that implied?
Where is implied?
You said it was implied?
Yeah,
it
was
more superior than women? Where was that implied?
Okay. Do you remember the discussion to say, should there be women preachers?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's implied.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we turn
there,
around
yeah.
and we turn around and says, women should be silenced, and when you go into Timothy, and they should, husbands, you should silence your wife and teach them when at home. If you truly believe that the females do not have any influence on a person, then you are lost. Because here's another case. Think about this. Playing the dozens, people are ready to fight if you talk about their mother, right? Mm-hmm. Why is that? Because the teacher, you have respect for your teachers. Timothy had a lot of respect for his grandmother and his mother, guaranteed and take it to the bank. Mm-hmm. My mother taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. And I do remember when I was in elementary school, my mom was coming to pick me up, and this kid was talking about my mom, and I wanted to go whip that kid's behind. And I went out there, and my mother said, "Junior, you get back to this car. We're going home now." Mom, he's talking about you, and he can't do that. So my mother, she broke me up with that. She said, "Well, I want you to go down there and chase him. And when you get to him, you tell him this. If you got something to say," my mom said, "come and say it to her face." That kid was running. I thought he had shifted a different gear. He was gone. He was scared. But see, my mom was trying to teach me, yes, they can talk about her, but, that old school sticks and stones may break your bones, but words never hurt you. Well, that's not true. And at least over time,
words do hurt, yes.
We figured that out because it was hurting me that don't talk about my mom. It's important to emphasize in this lesson, Timothy's life, these two women, his grandmother and his mother, played a very, 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 very important role in raising this child.
Right.
So women, if anything, it's not a matter I'm trying to fight for women. I'm trying to turn around and let you know everybody's important in their roles in doing what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And this society, it's we got racism, we got all other kind of crazy stuff that's going on. But I'm saying, men, stand up for what the truth is and state what it is and appreciate what the women are contributing to this fight.
Okay, so another point I wanted to mention, probably already mentioned it, about Paul. Paul mentored Timothy, and he tried to encourage him to hold on to his faith, no matter what was going on in his life, to hold on to his faith. And he was, even in the midst of Timothy facing hardships or fear, and some of those fears were like physical persecution, pressure from false teachers, and the emotional weight he must have felt knowing that Paul was going to be executed.
And not only that, again, I want to highlight that Paul and Timothy's relationship, Paul loved Timothy like a son. Mm-hmm. They had a very good relationship. And also, too, fathers out there, you should have a good relationship with your children because you already went through life and you got to help encourage them to get through life. And hopefully each generation gets better as you keep teaching and teaching them the right thing. We should see that not only you older brothers, if you have a brother, it is your responsibility as being the older brother, be an example for the younger brother. Now we do have Jim.
What are you gonna say?
Okay, the twins, Jacob and Esau. Whew, finally got it out. Jacob and Esau. Even though Esau was the oldest, he was not a very good brother for his younger brother. Okay? And what I'm getting at, it is so important the oldest brother think about what he's doing and not being selfish, because the other brothers, they're trying to figure it out by watching the older one. Each one is watching the older ones. And I noticed that's how my girls worked. And they get very disappointed when they're not getting any information from the other one and they're being selfish and doing their own thing, say, you go do yours. But no, they need to understand, because sometimes they can't talk to the parents. Okay? And I found out my younger brother, when I was playing ball at Poly, and I asked him, how come you didn't play any while I was there? I didn't want to be associated with you. I wanted to be myself. And
siblings feel that way, yeah.
And I wish he had told me. I would have took the time to tell everybody.
Because people like to compare.
Yeah.
And everybody, even though they may be in the same family, they're still an individual.
Yeah, they were excited
And
about watching when I
yeah,
play, and then they expect him to,
yeah,
But most of
yeah,
the times, the younger ones are better than the older ones because they're learning what the older mistakes the older one is making.
yeah.
So we shouldn't be fighting, brothers. Brothers, we shouldn't be fighting each other at all. We should be helping one another. And
I don't think we should always compare people either,
yeah,
because everybody's an individual and they have their own
yeah,
perspective and their own way of doing things and their own experiences.
yeah.
So the next thing I want to do quickly is to define a couple of words, and the first word is rebuke. Rebuke means to criticize sharply, and the next word
Now
is
let's go back to it and rebuke sharply. Let's not leave it as that because some people think, oh, I can be nasty, not use my people skills and tell them, you're wrong. Try to encourage the person and tell them, and use the criticism in a positive way.
Right.
Because what's important is they do receive the message, and if they don't, then that's not rebuke. You just irritated them.
okay. And the next word is legacy. Legacy is something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or predecessor,
Yeah,
or from someone from the past.
yeah. Like my father. Just giving an example that my father has some things that I really don't want to talk about that wasn't good. But if I give him a grade as a father, I would give him an A.
Some of the things that you already mentioned, some of them that we can learn from this lesson from Paul and Timothy's relationship is that we can impact the lives of others by what we say or what we do, and we can be open to apologizing, forgiving, and to get back on the right path of
Yep.
doing the right thing. And we can use our talents to help others, like volunteering our services when there is a need. And we can be patient and not judgmental when we deal with others, right? And I don't know about this, but asking for feedback from someone like accountability friend about something we're interested in or did to see how they feel about it, or can they offer some advice without us feeling some type of way about what they said.
So
What do you think about that?
these are all good things that, and I'm saying, so you know what, I'm looking at here because my wife is working on her patience, and she's good-hearted and everything, but she wants better patience, and and I can tell you, I irritate her a lot, and then she turns around and
Irritate me a lot.
oh yeah, so but still.
Just say it sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes, however you want me to say it. But anyway, she's the point is we're trying to make is it's not going to be a perfect world, a perfect relationship, but still the self-control, the loving, the joy, it's all there. We've been married for 50 years, so she's like, no, I won't say that. Yeah, I will. She's like an old sock and it's so comfortable. Anyway,
Okay, so do you want to mention that we celebrate our 50th anniversary?
I just said that we were married.
Okay.
Oh, we did
in
celebrate.
July. We celebrated in
Yeah.
July.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah, with the
celebrated.
family.
Yep. And sorry for that, for MIA missing in action, but I'm trying to get my head around a few things, and my sister was the hardest thing I had to deal with.
Yeah, we lost our sister,
Yeah, and
our dear sister,
I-
Virginia.
maybe one of these days I'll tell you what's there, and then it when. And just thinking about it, it kind of rattles my cage. So I'm going to move off of that, but just continue in prayer so we can get back on track here. So don't, we say we'll be transparent, and just I don't know what else to say. But anyway, the other thing too. That last point here, because I know gas prices and stuff that are high. People are having problems paying bills because things are just getting out of whack.
Right.
It's getting better for the wealthy and worse for the ones on the bottom of the economic chain.
Right.
And we went out. My brother and I went out, and we went to a store and to switch out some things. But while we were waiting to be waited on, we just noticed in the store people were just We wonder, we have a sign on our face. People want to sit down and start talking about the lay of the lands and the politics, and we're just shaking our heads. And of course, we're going to sit there and listen because we want to encourage people if somebody's hurting. We want to make sure we're not just you know, what do they say, count them out or just writing them off. We don't want to do that to people. We want to encourage people.
Okay, so with that being said, we hope we said something that will provoke thought, and we will see you next time. Talk to you later.
Elevate your mind and spirit. Elevate your mind.